Thank you, sir. That was great. Good morning, everyone, and happy 25th birthday to Net Impact. Incredibly exciting. 25 was a big year for me, and it's going to be a great year for Net Impact, and excited to celebrate that over the next couple days. When Liz asked me to join the board of Net Impact, it took me about 5 seconds to answer. And the reason for that was, as someone who hires people, I find the people who are members of Net Impact chapters are the best candidates out there, period. When it comes to incredible people with the right skills, the right mind, and that kind of can-do spirit and that attitude is exactly aligned with what you just said. So any of you looking for jobs, let me know. I am a huge fan. I'm going to be kicking off this morning's session about purpose, which is my passion, is around purpose. I was raised Jewish of descent, but raised Buddhist in the Tibetan Buddhist community. And the main theme that I took away from that, I'm not a Buddhist, but the theme I took away from it was to live consciously. We can make choices, but you own those choices. And the more you know yourself, the more you can make conscious choices. And what we have in this world is a world with a lot of people who are asleep. They're not making conscious decisions. They're not aligned with who they are. And I've been on a quest to really help figure out, how do we awaken the lion in everyone? How do we bring people forward with courage, with their roars, so that they can make the impact they were meant to make? My story professionally as it relates to this topic begins with the Taproot Foundation, which is an organization I started back in 2001 with a simple goal, which was to help every nonprofit get access to the marketing, tech, HR, finance support it needs to thrive, because too often they're priced out of that market. And over the course of about 11 years, we grew the US marketplace to $15 billion a year in pro bono services, and then expanded all around the globe, building pro bono service movements in countries, just about every country. We have not yet, I should say this, and this is actually a challenge to you, we never got to Antarctica. And apparently penguins want to do pro bono work. So if any of you know any penguins, send them my way as well. They smell, but they're great little creatures. What we found with pro bono work was that people said over and over again, this is the most rewarding work in my career. And at first we were like, holy shit, this is awesome. We've created Disneyland for work, right? But the reason I quit Taproot and started Imperative was the exact same thing. With the exception of a few creepy people, no one lives at Disneyland, right? We all go back to our lives. And the same problem with pro bono work, we go back to our lives. How do we make our core work meaningful? How do we sustain that? What is purpose, right? What is purpose? Purpose is the reason we work beyond financial rewards and recognition. That's purpose. That is the scientific definition of psychologically what generates a sense of purpose in a human being, right? That is what purpose is. And right now, 66% of the US workforce is unfulfilled at work. 66%. Which I think is, there it is. Look how unhappy that woman is. She's miserable. And her cat is kind of like evilly like smiling, like happy about it, which I never liked cats, and I think this is why. If she had a dog, the dog would be more sympathetic, I think. So we have a workforce, we have human beings, 66% are unfulfilled. We read it as a business statistic, and we're like, that's too bad, that's not great. Think about it from a human point of view. I believe there is no statistic that if we were to flip it and make it 66% fulfilled, would have more of an impact on our economy, our health, our environment, et cetera. If we were able to awaken the lion in everyone, we would be able to address so many issues. And it begins with individuals. People who work with purpose are more fulfilled, they are higher performers, they're more likely to become leaders, they're more likely to have healthy relationships with their families. We have not found a single statistic where people who work with purpose do worse than those who don't. There is no case to not have purpose in people's lives. And to think about what the impact is for someone not to have purpose. Think of a friend, a coworker, what it means for them to actually not be fulfilled at work and what a crime that is in their life. But then look at it as well for organizations. For the organizations out there where you find that the majority of those workers are not fulfilled. Think about what that does to your organization's culture. Think about what that does to your performance. Think about what that does for your brand. This is one of the biggest problems in the workforce and in business organizations today, is that they have a workforce that's largely asleep. And if they woke that up, it would radically improve every organization, and it would have a huge impact more broadly. Similarly, we've studied purpose in organizations in countries and people around the world. We have not found one example of a time when a company does better in the long run without purpose. There is no business case for not having purpose. Every single time shows up. Finally, society. And I started with this, because this is ultimately what matters. If we are able to flip the script and make 66% of the workforce fulfilled, the economy will be much stronger and more sustainable. We'll have radical changes in inclusion, belonging, and core social issues that we have in society, because people will not be operating out of fear. They'll be operating out of hope. They'll be operating out of a sense of security in themselves. And then biologically, neuroscience has shown that when people work with purpose, it produces oxytocin, which is a chemical in the brain that produces the ability to have trust and connection. If we have that, we're healthier, we're able to have better relationships. Purpose truly is the unlock that we've been looking for to be able to fundamentally change the nature of our society and to build the society that's at the core of what Net Impact is all about. Next year, in partnership with Net Impact, we are beginning an annual conference called Purpose 2030. And the goal is to meet every year anyone who wants to be part of flipping the script. And every year we're going to measure our progress towards the 66%. And we're going to try different things to see what is it going to take in our education system? What is it going to take in the workforce? How do we need to change technology? Let's figure out how to hack purpose so that we can fundamentally change the nature of individuals, organizations, and society. And we're at Imperative, my B Corp, what we've done is we've mapped purpose. Purpose has been about poetry. It's been an art form. What we recognize is there's actually psychological data patterns behind why someone has X purpose and someone else has Y purpose. And then we can actually now in 10 minutes determine what previously took months of executive coaching, what your psychological purpose is, and therefore everything from where you should volunteer to how you should develop as a leader to how purpose of different people connects together, how to find a mentor who shares a purpose with you. Just like we hacked the human genome, we have now hacked human purpose. And we're able to explore that and look at radical new ways that we can connect people through the science of purpose. This morning, we're going to talk about how do we build this movement. And anyone here from Harvard? There we go. Marshall Gans. This is a much younger photo of him. His mustache is still very healthy, though. Great movement builder. And he talks about in his work how to build a movement, we need to have a story of self. We need to know who we are. We need to have a story of us, who we are collectively. And then we have to have a story of now. What are we going to do now, together and as individuals? That's what builds a movement. And what we have this morning are 3 speakers who are each going to talk about different parts of this. We have the amazing Shannon, who's going to be up here shortly. Cheryl, who's been a pioneer in purpose. And then Kevin, who is truly leading at the forefront of bringing purpose to now. So with that, I actually would like to introduce Shannon Scholar from PwC, who is the queen of purpose. She is a pioneer in the field.